saw that on there. Does that have a microphone?
Yeah, and it actually sounds really good.
Okay. Does
Especially
it have a
once-
plug-in for microphone? Because I have a wireless microphone.
Yeah, I do too, but I think all I got is well, I mean, we could use the laptop jack for microphone. Ooh, that hurt.
Are you going to make discs available to us?
It's live right now.
No, I mean, I can have like a disc recorded of us.
Yeah, it's recording online. It's livestream.com.
Somebody will have to download it for me because I don't know how to do that shit.
So I had to race up here. I was like, I just didn't know if you had audio or not. I guess there was no audio going on.
We can go take a look and see what it sounds like now that the PA's on. I'm sure that everybody's listening to us talk about this. I have it up on the computer downstairs.
So it sounds good without. I just mean for this. I've got another stand.
come up and take a seat? We'd like everybody to come up and take a seat, please, and we'll get this going. Jeff's family, right up here in the front row, we have the whole front row up here for you. So if you're out there, please feel free to come up to the front. Thank you.
I just want to make sure that everyone grabs a copy of the brochure flyer that we have for the program today. If you do not have this, please raise your hand and I will have someone get you one. Those folks that I had asked to pass these out, is there anybody that has any that can hand some more out? We're going to get started here in just a couple minutes, so if you want to sit down, please come up now.
people in the very back on the sidewalk, can you hear back there? Please raise your hand. Thank you.
That's the one cable that if I don't bring it, I'll undoubtedly need it. So I always bring it.
Okay, cool. All right.
Okay, we're going to get started in 60 seconds. I think if I put a time limit on it, we'll get rolling. We are here today to celebrate the life of a son, a brother, an uncle, a nephew, a cousin, sometimes a confidant, and a friend, and one of the best bartenders Mount Hood has ever seen. Jeff heard that. To his mountain friends, he was that positive, smiling face greeting you when you first entered Charlie's. Always remembering your pinner number. He never forgot mine. Now, Jeff had a knack for taking some very interesting pinner pictures. If you were a regular, he knew what you were going to drink before you ever had a chance to say anything. Now, one time he changed things up for me, and he introduced me to the car bomb. I will be having one today in honor of Jeff. So if anyone would like to join me over at Charlie's later, there will be a car bomb session. I'll just leave it at that. You know, I think Jeff had a photographic memory. He never had to write down a food order, even with a large group. Never. He then would go over to the touchscreen computer and fingers would be flying. If you ever watched him, he had that thing going so fast. I remember when they first put it in, he had that thing figured out immediately. The next thing you would know, your food would be there, and he would bring a complimentary side order of that big smile of his. Huge. Now let me ask everybody here, and this is a tough one. What would Jeff say when you went into Charlie's and asked him how he was doing? What would he say? Amazing, but I'm living the dream. I'd like to read some lyrics. Now this was corrected by Bill. This is a Whitefish original, if I'm correct, isn't that right? Well, White Snake, excuse me. Yeah, I'm thinking of his band. White Snake, excuse me. But I'm going to do the Uncle Kracker version of his album, Happy Hour. Funny how things change, yet they always stay the same. And the simple things in life just get tossed into the flames. And I've been down that road before, where you just gotta roll the bones. I don't have much money in my pocket, but I didn't leave none at home. Here I go again on my own, going down the road I've ever known. Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone, and I'll keep living the life, living the dream on my own. A million roads to go, a million roads behind me. I've heard so many stories, but the good ones never find me. I ain't got no crystal ball that's showing me the way. I don't know which way I'm going, but I'll get there someday singing. Here I go again on my own, going down the only road I've ever known. Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone. And I'll keep living the life, living the dream on my own. And after all I've been through, there is nothing left to prove. I'm starting to believe we all can live the dream. Here I go again on my own, going down the road I've ever known. Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone, and I've made up my mind I ain't wasting no more time. Here I go again on my own, going down the only road I've ever known. Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone, and I'll keep living the life, living the dream, on my own. And that was Jeff. He was living his dream. You know he's listening to this. Now, before we move into the speakers and the others, I'd like to mention real quick, there is a guest book that we would like everybody to sign, and please print your name. It's important to the family. If you could, where's the guest book now? In that very corner, in the very far corner over there. Now the guest book is going to be in Charlie's afterwards, so when we're done here, I'll make some more announcements, but please, if you would, and make it legible, because that family would really like to know who has attended and who's signed in the guest book. And I'd like to start with the speakers on here, and we're going to go down the list. Robert? Now, Sue Mee is wandering around here, and you all know his dog. Sue's going to maybe come up and do some speaking, might be rolling a rock a little bit, so bear with Sue. Come on, Sue.
Oh boy. Okay, everything I wrote down is out the door, so bear with me. The testament to Jeff is right here with all you people, all you very, very, very good people. So it's just, he said, he's here with us. Somebody told me one time that you get a front row seat for these things, to listen to all the good things that your great friends say to you. And there's going to be lots of great things to say about Jeff, isn't there? Yeah. So I'd like to start, thank you for, and I will make this short, to Alicia and Charlie for all the hard work they've done, and everybody that's been involved in putting this together. Just a tremendous, tremendous deal. And I'm honored to be standing here up in front of you. Jeff was my great friend. He was a great friend for me. From the moment that Frank Marshall introduced me, I lived in RL's little cabin here, and Frank threw rocks at my door and window to wake me up at 4 o'clock in the morning to introduce me to the new guy. And we had adult beverages until the wee hours, and then got up and went to Huckleberry's for breakfast. And we were, the thing I can say about Jeff, we were friends like 2 minutes into first meeting each other. And our friendship grew and grew and grew until it was just the greatest thing in my life. And I'm just completely honored by it. He loved me. He taught me how to love another man as far as friendship. I was closing it up across the street one night, and it just happened that him and I were by myself. We were by ourselves, and he looked at me and goes, "Hey man, I love you." I was like, and now I've been on government camp for a long time, so this was way before the sensitive man thing. And I was like, well, okay. And he goes, no, I mean it. I really, really love you. And I was like, well, you know, I'm dating someone, Jeff. But I'm really crazy about you. And that was the honor of Jeff, that he made you feel so important. He made you feel that your concerns were his concerns, and vice versa. And I will, as we try and honor him and go on with things, that's one of the ways. Always carry that in your heart with him, that he loved each and every person that he got close to, and he got close to all of you, and that's why you're here. And never let that go. Never let that go for a second, and just expound on that. Just what would Jeff want me to do today? What would Jeff want me to do with, I know drink, have fun, and all that type of stuff. He'd like to do us lots of things. And we all knew so many different sides of him. So, and that's what he pushed me. There's not all the times I wouldn't do things sometimes, or I had family things and this, but he always was there. He always was there, and he always will be there. He's already been there. He's constantly yapping at me every moment of my life right now. So one of the ways that I also thought about, there's so many things to think about with him as we went on with this Facebook thing, and this is my first experience with this thing, and seeing how everybody communicated, and all the wealth that Jeff spread throughout the world. And I've known lots of people. I have lots of close friends. I have lots of people I love. I've never had a world international star at my back and call type of thing. And I picked him up at the airport when he came back from Europe, and he rarely surprised me, but he did with this. He said, I was surprised at all the people that tried to get hold of me when I was in Edmonton. And I'm kind of driving along in Friday afternoon traffic, and I looked over at him and was like, you rarely surprise me, buddy, but you're the Apostle Jeff. What would you be thinking that people aren't trying to get hold of you? Because we're all very concerned about it. And then it kind of started in on this thing about staying in touch and taking care of yourself and doing all this thing. He reached over and patted me on the back and called me grandpa and told me to settle down. And we had a laugh about that. So I guess that one of the things that I'm going to work on, and I've been working on it because we've all seen Jeff's transformation, I'm going to work on taking better care of myself and doing the things that, he was this guy, and then a year later we all saw that. So in a way honoring him, if you could reach out, look at things, take things into considerations, be kind to people, reach out to people, help people, and always be there. And then just love yourself and take care of yourself, because that's what part of his process was, and that's what he learned. I also want to talk about Lena. We're honored to take care of her. I have a 6-year-old son. They bonded. I have my lovely wife, Wendy, that just loves the dog. We'll take good care of her. We'll bring her up for visits. We're going to start a Facebook page. She is, and I know, but it's a good thing because she's a special dog, and it's a special relationship. So I just want you to know she's going to get the love and respect in life that she deserves and what he would want. And I can hear the Academy Awards and music playing, so I'll get off the stage here. Like I said about the Facebook and with everybody, come talk to me, because I knew Jeff. I had Jeff as my friend, a friend of our family, but I've loved him more since this because I saw how big he was. Come talk to me if you get a chance. Tell me stories about him because I want to hear it. There's not enough information or enough pictures or enough about Jeff that I'll ever be able to get. And the stories are there, so pass them amongst yourself. Come up and tell me. And have a wonderful time tonight. Stay calm. And thank you. Thank you to the family. Okay.
Hug all the chicks.
And that was an important thing. Hug all the chicks. All right. Much love to you all.
Thank you, Robert. Have a little pause here. Let me ask you down there, how many have had a car bomb? Well, yeah, well, I knew I was going to be filling in a few things, but that looks like about 100 right out there. The Red Rooster. Jeff hated that when we were doing that because we used all the shot glasses in the place. He absolutely hated it. When we come in there and we quit that. I know everybody, a few people have had the red roosters, but, and I'll explain it later. We don't have enough time. But he hated that one. He just grimaced all the time. Not another one of those. But we got over it.
Good? Perfect. Hi, my name's Alex. It's Jeff's nephew. He gave me a lot. I never really got to see him much, but every time I came down here, it was the best thing. I always looked forward to it. I never wanted to leave. He gave me so much, and he taught me so much in the short time that we were together. He taught me how to be a better person. He taught me how to play guitar. He gave me my first drum set when I was 3 and a half. The distant, childless uncle. He did so much for me, and I just wish there was some way I could give that back to him. He really was one of a kind. This is called Terry's Song. It's by Bruce Springsteen. It's picked up by my dad. Hope you like it. I'm not a singer, so bear with me. The Eiffel Tower stand alone. They could build another if they need. Taj Mahal, pyramids, Egypt, how unique I suppose. But when they built you, brother, they broke the mold. Now the world's filled with many wonders under the passing sun. Yeah, but sometimes something comes along and you know for sure it's the only one. The Mona Lisa, the David Sistine Chapel, Jesus, Mary, and Joe. But when they built you, brother, they broke the mold. Yeah, when they built you, brother, they turned dust into gold. And when they built you, brother, they broke the mold. Now they say you can't take it with you, but I think that they're wrong. All I know is I woke up this morning
comfort knowing that you can round me blessed and cursed. But love's power greater than death, just like the songs and stories told. When they built you, brother, they broke the mold. Bad attitudes of power stronger than death, alive and burning a stone cold. When they built you, brother, thank you.
Hello, everyone. I don't know if we'll make it through this, but I prepared something to read. Okay. Lately, it has not been a daily thing for me to think about Jeff. But about every month for the last 6 years, we've talked by phone. Previous to that, we had been housemates since he had purchased his house here. The house he had originally come here to house it back in '93. Near that time, I saw him hiking up multiple lift line while I was working on the lift. I thought it would be entertaining to hassle this stranger approaching me as he climbed the hill. A few words were exchanged about why he should stay clear of the lift and the lift terminals while we were doing our maintenance. Those first few gruff words from me and his disarming reply was how I met Jeff. Little did I know at that time that this one person would become my dearest and longtime friend. He started his career at Charlie's, and all of us at the time were taken with Jeff's genuine generosity and his attention to detail. It has been near 20 years since that time, and now here we sit and reminisce about the memories of a great man who left us to wonder just how much more greatness he would achieve. While standing here, I look at one of his greatest achievements, the wealth of loyal friends he had made during his time with us. We all would have wished for another reason to be gathered here to honor our friend. Jeff made himself approachable to everyone, the ultimate icebreaker. He could talk to anyone about almost anything, and at the end of the conversation, you felt good. Such a wonderful outlook he had towards life and to those he encountered. Jeff was always enthusiastic about looking for another reason to celebrate. The Colorado Campout, Cooler Fest, and the April Birthday Bash, among others. Since him and quite a few others in our community had birthdays in the month of April, Jeff decided that we should have an overnight gathering up in the woods alongside the Salmon River to celebrate those birthdays all together at once. Almost guaranteed to rain. Jeff would have a fire going, and most of the gathering area covered with a mosaic of tarps, stitched together with twine and duct tape. More than not, there was a fresh keg of Jubilee hiding under the picnic table. On the table was a chaotic mix of varied food and drink. His motto at these gatherings was to bring something to share, something he certainly did well. We would all be standing in the cold rain, staring into the smoky fire of wet wood, drinking, playing music, and telling ourselves we were having the best times of our lives. And to this day, we still think they are the best times. Jeff, cheers to you. Enjoy the angel's share. And I bid you farewell. And to bid you farewell, this one passage from Edward Abbey. May your trails be crooked, winding, lonesome, dangerous, leading to the most amazing view. May your mountains rise into and above the clouds. May your rivers flow without end, meandering through pastoral valleys, tinkling with bells, and not the bell above Charlie's. Past temples and castles and poets' towers into a dark primeval forest where tigers belch and monkeys howl. Through invisible and mysterious swamps and down into a desert of red rock, blue mesas, domes and pinnacles, and grottos of endless stone. And down again into a deep, vast, ancient, unknown chasm where bars of sunlight blaze on profile cliffs, where deer walk across the white sand beaches, where storms come and go as lightning clangs upon the high crags, where something strange and more beautiful and more full of wonder than your deepest dreams waits for you, beyond that next turning of the canyon walls.
Hi, everybody. Thanks again for coming. I am going to speak on behalf of our crew, Charlie's, and I have a poem to read from Katrina. She's unable to be here today. I will catch my composure here in just a moment. I am clearly speechless to all of you. I know that it would mean a lot to him to see every one of your faces here, and I'm truly amazed to see everybody's faces here, and thank you so much for coming to join in celebrating the best bartender and employee a person could ever dream of having. Jeff was the best in the entire world bartender you could ever dream of having. He had our back every day he worked. Him and Katrina made the best team you'll ever find, and we can never thank him enough for everything he's ever done for our business. We hope everyone keeps continuing to come in and sharing all your wonderful stories about Jeff, and we will miss him dearly. I'm going to go ahead and read Katrina's poem, and then I believe Aaron wants to say something. Aaron, if you're out there, I don't know where you're at, but if you can come up here, that would be great. Katrina wrote a poem. It's labeled, I Am. Free to love in ways I've never loved before. Free of worry, free of pain, free of limitations. Physically, I no longer exist, yet now I am larger than life. I am every breath you take. I am in everything you see, touch, feel, smell, or hear. I ride the vibrant vibration of everything pulsing in this life. I float effortlessly between each one of you. I kiss you gently in subtle ways to remind you I am here. Look for me beyond what the eye can see. I am here. A breeze, a rainbow, a bird's song, a child's laugh, an adult's smile. I have absorbed into it all, just waiting patiently for you to recognize me, silently asking you to open your heart so you can know I am a part of you. I am. Katrina wrote that and sent that to me and wanted me to share that with you all. Thank you very much. Aaron, where are you? Does anybody know where Scriggs is at? There he is. Okay.
Just gonna keep this short and sweet. Wrote something a little down there last night. Closer? Can you hear me? No? Okay, so many of you know me. If you don't, my name's Aaron. So I've known Jeff for since I moved here 15 years. And I really first got to know him when he was open mics here at Charlie's, and he used to play every Sunday at the Rat. And I first got my mandolin, and I asked him if I could sit in with him, and that's how I started playing mandolin, and I kind of owe that all to Jeff for pushing me to play more and play with him. And he will be surely missed, and from his parties and everything, and after hours at his house, dinners. All the good times, because when you partied with him after work, it was a lot different than when he was working. And yeah, he was a good guy. And so, my dog too. So, I'd like y'all to pick up your glass, give a cheers to Jeff. He was a beautiful soul. And oh, what a beautiful buzz he was. Oh, there you go.
Like a bird within him sang. All I know, he sang so sweet a tune and then flew on. Tell me all that you know, I'll show you. Snow and rain. If you hear that same sweet tune again, will you know why? Anyone who sings so sweet a tune is passing by. through the night. Don't cry now. Don't you cry. Don't you cry anymore. Sleep in the stars. Don't you cry. Dry your eyes on the wind. All I know is something like a bird within him sang. All I know, he sang so sweet a tune and then flew on. Tell me all that you know, I'll show you snow and rain, snow and rain, snow and rain, snow and rain. Love you, Jeff.
Thank you, Tom. John?
Well, good afternoon. There we go. Good afternoon. My name is John Bright, and I have some things to say about Jeff. I met Jeff when I was 17. He was the very first person I met at the University of Washington. As luck would have it, I ended up living in the room across the hall from him, which, after meeting him as a greeter, we became pretty fast friends. His outgoing, friendly manner and his ability to just talk to anybody. He introduced me to a lot of people, and many of my close friends today are a result of Jeff. Give you a little bit of background. Sorry, I changed things around here a bit. About my experiences with Jeff. I've been able to enjoy time with Jeff from Vancouver, British Columbia, to Oahu, Montana, and Vegas. I met Jeff in college, as I already said, and the second year that I knew him, we had a house with 13 guys in it, and you guys can imagine how much fun that was. It was a lot of fun most of the time, that's for sure. A lot of good times there. And then, we used to, he got a dog, Fontosh. I'm sure some of you remember Fontosh. Beautiful dog. And Fontosh made life even more interesting with Jeff. I remember going up to Baker Lake with Eric and Jeff Anderson and Jeff Ecker and having just a really kind of crazy camping trip out in the middle of the snow and just muddy, nasty, but we had a blast still. Met some guy named Stu who never picked up the fact when we called him Mr. Pidd. Anyway, following that, Jeff moved to Govey, although I don't think that was the intention of going there. He went to house sit, his uncle's house, and ended up staying. He found his perfect job. It allowed him to travel, allowed him to talk to people, and to be himself in a lot of ways. So, thanks to Charlie's as well. He broke his legs at one point skiing, and that's when he picked up the guitar. Jeff was always into music, but from my best recollection, before that, he hadn't played an instrument, at least around me much. He was able to get a new dog after Fontosh passed away, as we all know, Lena Sue. And basically purchased his uncle's house that he went down to house sit at one point and became Mr. Fix-It, remodeling it. I got to have a great experience with him in Vegas with Augie. In fact, there's a pretty funny story about that, but it's not the time and place to talk about it, over at Charlie's would be. And one of the things that brings the most memories back for me, excuse me, is hiking with Jeff. I don't know how many of you know this, but one summer, he set out to hike every day, and he did. I mean, I don't know many people with that kind of willpower and determination. And when Jeff and I would hike, it was a walk and talk. And so it really bonded us together in many ways. He cared enough to come to Oahu twice, and that meant a lot. I guess a kind of a rhetorical question is, how many true friends can a person have? I mean, I think most people are really fortunate if they have as many as they have fingers on a hand. And looking around, I think Jeff had more than that, and that is a real blessing. You know, Jeff was definitely one of those friends for me. I could be totally honest with Jeff. I completely trusted him. I was able to make myself vulnerable in a sense due to honest and deeply personal communication with Jeff, but I didn't worry because I really did trust him. He was a determined man. When he set his mind to something, he accomplished it. He was outgoing as can be, as we all know. I always thought of him as Mr. Friendly. There'd be so many times I'd be petrified about talking to someone. Jeff would break the ice. It was a very wonderful experience to be around him. He was positive and passionate, very attentive. In fact, he was an amazing listener. And in fact, he listened so much to our problems, and his friends' problems, that he almost failed to communicate his. Unfortunately, he did. We were able to listen, and Jeff made a decision after talking to some of his close friends and Dr. Bob, and went and confronted his congestive heart failure. And I tell you what, watching Jeff go from obese to healthy was one of the most amazing and rewarding experiences of my life. It was. The level of energy and his positive attitude, it was just off the charts. He prepared a vegan dinner for us when I flew into Portland last year. And though I am far from vegan, it was quite good. Some things were amazing, to quote Jeff. Final thoughts. I guess my only regret, as Jeff's close friend, is that for him, is that he never found a soulmate, but rather than turn bitter about it, like so many people I've met have. It never stopped his amazing positive attitude, his eagerness, and his ability to connect with others or to make the most of the circumstances. As many of you probably know, Jeff believed in the secret, the law of attraction, manifesting what you wanted to happen. And he was able to use that in ways that I've rarely seen people manage to use it. There's some pretty amazing stories there too, which I'll be happy to share at Charlie's. I do find some solace in knowing how happy and full of life he was when he passed. He had just had an amazing trip to Europe for Oktoberfest and got to see a woman that was very special to him, and then got to spend some time in a place he'd never been, in Portugal. So I guess I'll just finish up by saying Jeff was a practical, caring, trustworthy, and amazingly friendly man who I miss terribly. I hope to see you on the other side, brother.
everybody. For those that don't know me, I'm Eric Gebhardt, and I've known Jeff for over 25 years. I'm here to talk about the passing of him, but it feels like I've lost a brother. And we often talked about how we thought that we were kindred spirits, and I just have this feeling as I watch everything that's going on, especially as this moment is happening right now, that he was a kindred spirit to so many other people. I've talked to a lot of people in recent days asking why, and some others reminiscing about times past and memories they had of Jeff and how great of a person he was to them, and so many others. And I've had such a range of emotions, from sadness and shock to anxiety, and then joy and happiness, thinking about the fond memories that we had together. And I started to have this whole feeling of it would be easy to fall down into this hole of despair about Jeff and losing him. But then what brought me back was that I'm pretty sure if I did that, Jeff would come down here and kick my arse. And he would tell me to go out and live life to the fullest and do what you can with what time you have. There's a few words and phrases that I always think of when I think of Jeff. And experience was one of the words that always reminded me of him. He had a sticker on his truck and other vehicles that he had. And I just remember him going out and being experienced, just being the essence of experience, I guess. I also remember making various T-shirts with Jeff over the years, and Grateful Dead shows. But one T-shirt in particular was he had one that said, "Sing like no one is listening, dance like no one is watching, and love like you can never be heard." And that's how Jeff lived. Everything that he did, he put his heart and soul into it. And, as has been mentioned before, he had some health problems the last few years. And, not only did he not let it beat him, he turned the tables on it in classic Jeff fashion. Just had a vision, planned and organized for it, and pulled off what no ordinary person could do. But I think we all knew that Jeff was extraordinary. Another thing is music. I've been introduced to so much music, and there's not enough time right here because it's kind of cold out for me to go through all the different songs. But when I first met Jeff in an elevator in the same building that John was talking about, and we ended up talking for 7 hours. And we had a lot of things in common, and just clicked. But I also when I first moved in as a roommate with Jeff, we lived in that house with 13 people in it. And I remember walking into the house, and Jeff had painted the cover of Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, completely around his room. And I was just looking around, and I had heard of Pink Floyd, but that's when my real education began. As I came to know as the Jeff way, he would delve deeper into the subject matter. He would look for the obscure, and he would embrace it, and he would translate his passion to others for them to enjoy. I know that he eventually found Fish. I'm sure there's many people that are aware of that, and I went to a couple shows with him on that. But he again found his passion in it, and he made countless friends along the way, as Jeff was so good at doing. He did that with the greatest of ease. And this has been mentioned before too. He'd make them friends, or at the very least, he would meet a complete stranger and make them have a better day just for having met him. I was asked if I could put together a timeline for Jeff, and I know that Jeff was born in Key West, and that he lived a portion of his early years in Tacoma and attended high school overseas in Switzerland, and he came back and graduated from the University of Washington in Seattle and settled here in Government Camp. And I'm sure I've omitted a couple places, and I don't mean to discredit that, but I chose to look at this a little bit differently. And I think the true measure of Jeff is he will continue to live in the hearts of each and every one of us, and he has ever since anybody got to know him. He touched our souls as few people could, and it was a gift that he had, and he was so willing to share. I'd like to read a poem, and I'm going to have one more comment after that. To those I love and those who love me, when I am gone, release me, let me go. I have so many things to see and do. You mustn't tie yourself to me in tears. Be happy that we had a few years. I gave you my love. You can only guess how much you gave me in happiness. I thank you for the love you each have shown, but now it's time I traveled on alone. So grieve a while for me if you must, then let your grief be comforted by trust. It's only for a while that we must part, so bless the memories within your heart. I won't be far away, for life goes on. So if you need me, call me, I will come. Though you can't see or touch me, I'll be near, and if you listen with your heart, you'll hear all my love around you soft and clear. And then when you must come this way alone, I'll greet you with a smile and a welcome home. I just like to say the one final thing that Jeff used to send me postcards from what he called elsewhere, postcards from elsewhere. And even on the phone, he'd always end with much love and wish you were here. And I can't say that enough, how I feel that about Jeff. Thank you very much.
3.5 years ago, Jeff sang for my dad Charlie's celebration of life. And our family would like to return that favor right now with a few modifications. The night that Patty Murphy died is a night I'll not forget. Some of the boys got loaded drunk and they ain't been sober yet. As long as the bottle was passed around and everyone was feeling gay, O'Leary brought the bagpipes and the music began to play. That's how we show our respect for Patty Murphy. That's how we show our honor and our pride. They said it was a sin and shame that we all winked at each other. And every glass in the bar was full the night Patty Murphy died. One snowy night at Charlie's, a man came through the door. He was looking for to pick a fight or even up a score. He shoved his way right to the bar, demanding drinks be poured. And in less than half a second, Jeff had him pinned into the floor. He said, "My man, you've got it wrong. You can't come in to fight. These are my friends, my family. You've got to treat them right." The man got mad. "I'll call the cops." And it really was a sight. Jeff just laughed and threw him out and said, "I'm the law tonight." That's why we show our respect for Jeff Hacker. That's why we show our honor and our pride. He always served a full mug of friendship overflowing and a tall shot of laughter and good stories by the side. lands around the globe as travel he did best, from the cobbled streets of Galway to the Munich Oktoberfest. He loved the music of Fish and of the Grateful Dead, but the stories he sang from his heart are the ones that we love best. That's why we show our respect for Jeff Becker. That's why we show our honor and our pride. He always served a full mug of friendship overflowing, and a tall shot of laughter and good stories by the side. The day we heard Jeff Ecker died, no dry eye could be found. The wind was taken from our sails, a sigh our only sound. We didn't know that just at that time Jeff's days were all used up. We'd no more hear him singing one more drink from the loving cup. He was a man of the mountain with a heart both big and strong. He shared with us his adventures and gave us his song. A Govey man most tried and true will hold in high esteem. He did it right to the end in living his life's dream. That's why we show our respect for Jeff Ecker. That's why we show our honor and our pride. He always served a full mug of friendship overflowing, and a tall glass of laughter and good stories by the side. That's why we show our love for Jeff Ecker. That's why we show our honor and our pride. We'll always toast a full mug of friendship overflowing and listen for his laughter in the stories we tell tonight.
Look at all these people. So, I know a lot of people came here, and you kind of wonder, like, what's the next thing? So I'm going to do a little housekeeping first, and then I'll talk a little bit, and then we're going to do a song, and then the party's going to start. Because we're here to celebrate, we're not here to mourn or grieve. First and foremost, Alicia and Charlie, thank you guys so much. Unbelievable what they did. I can't say enough. All of you who showed up, thank you for coming. My family has come from the corners of the earth. People have come from everywhere. What a testament. What a man. By the way, I'm Bill. I am his older brother. In case none of you knew who I was. So I knew Jeff all his life, pretty much. And I guess I'll put a little bit different spin in some of these amazing stories that his dear friends, his extended family, as you all became, have heard. I guess for me, I take comfort in knowing, it was really, really great the last year and a half, how Jeff had just set his mind to, he was going to get fit, he was going to get healthy, and he did it. I mean, it was like every time he came to see, it was like, who is that guy? And, he lived his life full throttle, and that's so inspiring. And, it's funny, between brothers, we always have jealousy, and I'm the guy that has the wife and the house in the suburbs, and I have a car payment, and I go to work every day. And so he was jealous of that in kind of some ways. And Jeff was the wandering soul who could just drop everything at the drop of a hat and head off to New Zealand or head off to Portugal to go surfing. I was jealous of that. So, it was a great, God, what a great guy. And he was, 20 years ago he came down here to house sit, or however the story turns out, to get bartending experience or whatever it was. And he never left because he was the man of the mountain. He became the man of the mountain. And he was a mountain of a man, as we've heard. And I went to school at Reed in Portland, and I have a lot of friends that are still in Portland, or they passed through coming. And when they find out that that guy that they met in Mountain View was my brother, they're like, God, we thought that guy was the Pope. We thought he was the mayor. And so that was a family joke, maybe. We called him the Pope of Government Camp for years. So long live the Pope. But I guess, so housekeeping things, sorry, I got sidetracked. The guest book, please sign the guest book. We really, really appreciate everybody coming. We don't want to lose touch. Jeff's earthly remains, our family, we would like Jeff to be returned to the places that he loved. And if you would like to take part in that, put a little star or a smiley face next to your name. And as in the future, we'll be in touch with you to let you participate in that, because, Jeff doesn't belong to us. This is his family. You are his people. So, please do that. And I guess the thing that I would say is, 25 years ago, Jeff was kind of a pizza delivery guy. He worked in a camera shop. He was wrecking cars. He was just kind of your typical, just got out of college, didn't know what I'm going to do with myself. And then he came down here, and all of a sudden, who was this guy? He transformed. And I always called him the Cosmic Spider. Why the Cosmic Spider? Because what Jeff did was he went out in the world and he spun webs. And he'd go to Switzerland and he'd meet people and he'd tie up a little web there, and he'd go up to New Zealand and he'd tie a little. And so he had all these threads everywhere in the world. He had this huge web. And now he's stepped out. Jeff just, and the web gets pulled tight, and what happens? It's a net, and look at what happened. Oh, you guys got pulled in. The Cosmic Spiders captured all of you in this web. And here you are. So, I guess that's my, I'm going to miss him dearly. He was an unbelievably great uncle. He's the uncle that everybody wants. The crazy uncle that lives up in the mountain that doesn't have any kids. As Alex alluded, he was the distant, childless uncle who had a penchant for delivering loud, expensive toys at Christmas. So, what a great guy. I mean, we're really going to miss him, but, everybody here revel in the joy. That was his life. That's what I would ask. Again, God, Alicia, you've done so much. I can't even thank you enough. I mean, this week, the load you took off, and, all his friends that spoke, Robert and Augie and John and everybody, just what a great reflection on Jeff's life. Personally, I actually kind of blew my fuse. I wrote the obituary that's on the back, and that was kind of my shot. I wanted to read a passage. It's for want of a better term, sort of a soliloquy about death. It's lifted from a book, but I've been trying to read it and I just can't get all the way through it. And so at the last minute, I dropped it on Tom and asked him if he could read it on my behalf. And this is kind of the closing thought, but it's, I don't know, maybe you'll think it's something that came out of the brain of a cosmic spider, but to me, it's a really meaningful passage about about the end of life. And I'll see you guys around today. Revel in the joy. There's going to be food. Sign the guest book. Thank you.
I hope I can do this justice. This is, like Bill was saying, think of mud. We're talking dirt right here. God made mud. God got lonesome. So God said to some of the mud, sit up. Seeing all I've made, said God, the hills, the sea, the sky, the stars. And I was some of the mud that got to sit up and look around. Lucky me, lucky mud. I, mud, sat up and saw what a nice job God had done. Nice going, God. Nobody but you could have done it. God, I certainly couldn't have done it. I feel very unimportant compared to you. The only way I can feel the least bit important is to think of all the mud that didn't even get to sit up and look around. I got so much, and most mud got so little. Thank you for that honor. Now mud lies down again and goes to sleep. What memories for mud to have. What interesting other kinds of sitting up mud I met. I loved everything I saw. Good night. Stay here. With that, I'm going to try to get all these announcements done. I want everybody to know that we're going to continue this celebration at Charlie's. And through the rest of the afternoon, we're going to have food over here, and I think it's going to be served fairly soon. We're going to do a little rearranging. If you have a chair, there's going to be food served here, and I think we have beverages also. Charlie, there is beverages and adult beverages. I just wanted to make sure before I started telling everybody, because I knew it was going to be a mad dash over there. But we're going to have that. Also, as Bill said, the book is going to go inside of Charlie's. We are going to have an open mic in Charlie's. We're still going to do that, correct? Open mic, if you would like to say anything in Charlie's throughout, so we're going to have that. And if a few of you'd like to gather around once I get over there, I'm going to have a car bomb, and we're going to raise the roof over there with a car bomb on there, so I just thought I'd tell you that.
If I may have a second here. I don't know if anyone knows me up here anymore. But you know, for you that are not familiar with me, I'm the resident Aussie. Government can't own Aussie. And you know, that young Jeffrey, when I walk in the bar, he'd say, young Richard. And I'd say, younger Jeffrey. You know, I'm a 66, he's a 69. You know, my pin, my Charlie's pin, actually has 69. Because I wanted 420, because everyone likes 420. But he was in freaking England and calls Charlie and reserves a freaking number. And I'm like, how does he do that? Isn't it about the customers, not about the employees? I guess not. So he got his bloody way again. So younger Jeffrey moved to this town in '93. Summer of '93, that is. I beat him by about 6 months. On January 9th, '93, when I rolled into this town, met my ex, and predominantly met all the other lovely ladies in town that came, followed. Thank you, girls. Thank you, girls. I love you all. Here's one for that back there, Miranda. All right. Special thanks to Miranda. And my darling, Wendy Darling out there. And Kelly, I see you hiding back there, Kelly. You can run, but you can't hide from me. Because I know where you work. You work downtown, drop that. She's a redneck on her own reconnaissance. So anyway, got a long story short, young Jeffrey, or younger Jeffrey, just the most beautiful man, beautiful person I've ever met. Most helpful, most kind and loving. And you know, I've had a few moments when Junior was still Junior. He wasn't old enough to be in the bloody bar right then. And somebody wanted to take a swing at somebody. And this guy hit a girl, and I jumped him and put him down, and Jeff grabbed that bat, and he grabbed me off the guy and said, Richard, I got it. I got it. And we manhandled him out of here. Love you guys. Go get warm, get some to eat. Second time.
Thanks everybody for coming. Thanks again. I will have some food coming up over here and some adult beverages. Have a great afternoon. Don't forget to raise a glass for Jeff. Maybe a car bomb or two